So we have just finished our Commandment 1, in which we covered up the topic on how important the role of a parent is in a child's life. We just cannot shrug our shoulders and say that we are not holding an important role in our child's life because there is so much of exposure to the child, can't cope up. That's exactly why our role is very important. So now we come to the Commandment 2. Many parents ask us, how can we show our love to our child? Is it important to show love to your child? So this covers up that. You cannot be too loving. That is the Commandment 2. And there are 5 topics in this which we'll be covering, which is, can you spoil your child with love? Expressing physical affection to your child? Praising your child's accomplishments? Responding to your child's emotional needs, providing a safe haven. So we are going to cover 5 topics in this Commandment 2. So now we go to topic number 8, that is, can you spoil your child with love? Dear parents, we can never spoil the child with love. The harm happens when we give things in place of love. So when we try to pacify the child with things, thinking that we are showing our love, that is the time when we spoil them. So what do I mean by when we give things in place of love? What are the things? We think that it is just the material things. Giving the child material gifts like toys, food, electronic devices. I mean, giving a mobile to the child and thinking that we are showing our love to our child. It is not only that. It is also being too lenient and not setting limits. What do I mean by being too lenient and not setting limits? Sometimes when we go out, especially if the child is 3 or 4 years old and the child misbehaves outside, and we feel that it's all right if he's misbehaving, we let our child go away. Repeat that. It can be like hitting another child. It can be anything. And we are not setting the child's boundaries. And we are trying to show that, oh, we love you so much that we don't want to be strict with you. That is wrong. And of course, lowering your expectation in order to be nice. There are many parents who tell the child, okay, if you're not studying, if you don't feel like studying, don't study. Because they feel our child will feel bad that we are keeping on nitpicking on him, study. It's not like that. When you know your child is of a certain caliber and you go below that, that is wrong for the child. So what are those things? Like we try to do these 3 things to show the child that we love you, but it's not that. In fact, we are harming our child more. Let's go to the next slide. And your warmth and affection has to be genuine. The more, the better. It has to be genuine, it has to be real, and it has to be consistent. You cannot be inconsistently showing your child love. Suppose if you have had a very rough day at work and your child comes, when you come from office, your child comes and hugs you and you are in no mood to show affection to the child. And you don't return it back. Or maybe you push the child away if you're very upset. That's wrong. You cannot be inconsistent because your child doesn't know, why is my parent not showing affection to me? So it has to be genuine. At the same time, it has to be consistent. It cannot be inconsistent according to your moods and fancies. As a parent, you have a big role to play. Then we go to the next topic. Next slide. Tell your child every single day that you love him or her. Every single day. Your child will never get tired. Maybe if the child is very big, the child may feel a little odd if you tell that to him in front of his friends. But in private, please, every day, keep on telling your child, I love you. Like, you see, even as if you're a husband or wife, if your spouse keeps on telling you, I love you, don't you like it? And you're a matured person. You know where you're standing, but your child is not matured. Your child is just lifting up his self-esteem and self-confidence. Your I love you will make the child feel on top of the world. Praise your child when he or she deserves. See, there are parents who keep on praising the child for no reason. Oh, you look so good. You're so beautiful. You have said once your child knows that your child is good looking. And for us, for every parent, our child is God's gift to earth. Of course. But the others do not believe that. No. The child has to be he has to face the world when he becomes big. So if you keep on praising your child when he doesn't deserve, your child will expect that when the child grows big, when the child goes to work, because whatever you do in the childhood remains with your child. Even we carry our baggage, what our parents have put on us. Our parents had their own baggage, what their parents had put on them. So if you feel that your child deserves praise, then definitely praise the child. And we will show you how it's supposed to be done in the next few slides. And don't hold back your affection or act aloof. As I told you previously, like sometimes maybe the husband and wife have had differences or maybe a verbal fight. They're not talking to each other. So they transfer that to the child. They will not talk to the child also. Don't do that, please. With the child, you have to be absolutely normal, as if, and especially in front of the child, even if you have to put on an act that you all are on the same page, do it. Because your child doesn't know. Your child, in fact, every child has got an antenna. They can understand what happens in between the parents. Okay? So don't hold back your affection or act aloof. Give love to your child unconditionally. Very, very important. Next. All right. Psychologists have proved that the child's psychological adjustment is proportional to the love shown by parents. So the more love you show, the more the child will grow up to be a well-adjusted, happy child. It's like water to the plants, sunlight to the plants. So if you don't give the plants sunlight, and if you don't give enough proper water to the plant will die. It's the same way. Next. The best adjusted children always report the highest level of parental love. Too much love does not make your child weak, needy, clingy, or attention-seeking. There are many parents who are from the old school of thought that the more we show love to the child will cling to us. The child will need that love afterwards also. It's not like that. In fact, the child starts feeling very, very secure that I am loved. And believe me, parents, whatever happens in the first 7 years or maybe 10 years also of the child's life stays with the child. If you do not show the child enough love, proper love, maybe your child would land up in a counselor's chair when he grows into an adult. Okay? Then we come to the next slide. Like I said before, in fact, your child develops a sense of security, and that sense of security remains throughout the life. It's not that the child will need that same amount of love when he grows big. Okay? All right. Now, how you show your child's affection is more important than whether you should show. Whether you should show, yes, you have to show. But how do you show? Sometimes we are in a fix. How do I show my child that I love? I don't want to bombard him with gifts. What should I do? So but as I said before, your love has to be real and genuine. Children have an antenna. They know when the parent is actually putting on an act or the love is real and genuine. So how to show your child affection? Okay. See, please put it in your mind's eye. You can't substitute affection by always buying expensive gifts, outings, giving special privilege to your child. No. In fact, expensive gifts, because if you give an expensive gift now, suppose if it costs maybe 1,000 rupees, when your child is maybe 14, 15, he would want a gift which is maybe 20,000 rupees. And the time, whether you can afford it or no, even if you can afford it, you buy and give it. What happens when you're no longer in the child's life, when the child is an adult? Suppose he or she can't maintain that status, that monetary status, and won't be able to buy those expensive things or those branded clothes. Won't your child feel as if I have fallen down in stature? Do you want your child to be that? So you can't substitute your affection by always buying expensive gifts or taking your child. There are parents who say, oh, we have taken our child for international outings. Fine. Of course, it's fine if you take. But don't just do the outings. Your love for your child is more important. And of course, special privileges to your child. There are parents who give special privileges. For example, I remember when my daughters used to go to school, touch wood, I had put humility in them, They would tell their father, please do not park the car near the school gate because we don't want our friends to know that we have got cars. Touch wood. It was that way, And so my husband used to park his car about maybe 100 meters away and then walk down with them to the school. No special privileges they want. And by the grace of God, till date, they are very, very humble. Then we go to the next slide. Children know the difference between being loved and being bought off or bribed. We feel that the child doesn't understand. Suppose we are late coming from work. So we buy a small gift and for the child. The child knows that my mom or dad are buying me off. They're bribing me. It's not like that. Come, it's all right. Come and say, oh, sorry, I am late. I had work at too much of work. And then just give a child a tight hug, give a kiss. Go freshen up and spend some time with your child. All right? Then we go to the next slide. So this was an end to the second commandment A. In between, which was about how much love should you give a child and how you should give love to your child. Now we go to the next, is especially how to give physical love to a child. That is the next topic.